I want to welcome everybody to Uncut Grass. And today we're going to be introducing a band. And each one of the members of this band has been recognized in some form or fashion with some of the great experiences through the IBMA and playing with other bands. And they really got together because of the pandemic. And we see the pandemic as a negative, but there are positives that come out of that. With us today is Aaron Bibelhauser, Arthur Hancock IV, Chris Shouse, Kati, Penn, and Roddy Puckett. And they make up the band called Wolfpen Branch. They've got 2 singles out right now with the 3rd one on the way. And we're just kind of going to go through each one of these members individually and kind of let them talk to everybody and introduce Wolfpen Branch. You can always go to wolfpenbranch.com. That is their website. And today we're going to start actually with Arthur Hancock IV. Arthur?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Oh, doing great. And I'm glad to have you with us here on Uncut Grass and glad to be able to introduce each one of you. And I know that you have got a lot of experience behind you, a Kentucky-based band. So kind of talk about yourself. I know it's a little hard to do that, but who is Arthur Hancock?
Well, it's not very hard for me to talk. I don't know if it's necessarily good if it's about me, but I'm sitting right now up on Bald Knob in near Frankfort, Kentucky, fixing to play a sunflower party. And I'm glad that we could get on the program here and chat with you a little bit. I'm like most bluegrass musicians. I started via my father. He taught me how to play guitar at a fairly young age, and then through a long story of circumstances and coincidence and luck, I ended up playing music with a number of people over the years that really had a profound influence on me. I had a banjo teacher in high school. She's a great string player as well, fiddle and all the stringed instruments. Anne-Marie Calhoun, or Anne-Marie Simpson is her name. And then I moved to Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, and signed up for Banjo 101. And lo and behold, Allison Brown was sitting on the other side of the desk. So I spent the better part of 4 years learning how to play the 5-string banjo and a lot about bluegrass music and jamming and all the things that we learn as bluegrass musicians in time. Never played in a band, and mostly spent most of my time musically just playing with my dad. We've gotten to record some music together, which is out there on the internet, as Arthur and Arthur, because he's the 3rd and I'm the 4th. But yeah, and then I was lucky enough to fall into a band with Roddy Puckett, and who's in this band now, obviously, and some other Kentuckians. And in a band called the Wooks for 4 years. I guess I played in that band, and I quit playing music for a while. Actually, I have some I have focal dystonia, and I was actually talking to Steve Dilling about it a couple weeks ago at a gig. So I was unable to play the banjo, but like you said, the coincidence and the luck and the pandemic and everything came into play, and I was able to get up into Wolfpen Branch and build this 5-piece band. But me personally, I'm a proud supporter of Kentucky music and bluegrass and all the great music of the Appalachian region and the world now. I've been laughing seeing videos of people in Japan playing Aaron Bibelhauser music. So it's all over the world, but I think being from Kentucky and a Kentuckian and learning from my family and the music, and sharing that gift, it's pretty awesome. And I'll throw out that Wolfpen Branch, and as I do it as well, is we're proud Cand-Aid Tunes ambassadors, which is a nonprofit that we work with to spread the music, and I try to do as much as I can with the International Bluegrass Music Foundation, or the Bluegrass Foundation. I'm lucky to serve on the board of that, and so in between gigs with Wolfpen and sleeping in the woods, I try to spread the bluegrass wherever I can.
Arthur Hancock IV, Wolfpen Branch, and we're just kind of going to go through the members here, each one. And I do want to mention this before we go to our next member. The Lexington, Kentucky Herald newspaper said that you all are the band to watch for 2021. So if the newspaper can see it, I'm sure everybody else is going to be able to see it, and I can hear it. We'll talk about your singles here just very shortly. Roddy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Roddy Puckett.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, I play bass in this band. I grew up not from the bluegrass world. I actually listened to a lot of pop and then rock and roll. I had an older brother who influenced me a lot, and so I was listening to AC/DC and Michael Jackson simultaneously back in the day. Then when I was 17, well, let's back up. I played saxophone when I was in middle school, and for about 3 years. And I kind of wish I would have kept up with that. At any rate, fast forward to, I always had music around. There was instruments, but I never did play anything else string-wise. But I went and saw the Grateful Dead when I was 17, and that totally turned me on to, I had to play guitar. There was a guitar, so I knew I had to figure out how to play it. And with that kind of music, that opened me up to Olden and the Way and David Grisman and bluegrass. And I finally gave that a try. I just never was really exposed to it. And fortunately, I was in Kentucky, and my friends were pickers, and we needed a bass player. So I went out and bought an upright and figured out how to somehow play that thing. Still trying to figure out how to play that thing. Anyway, then I played in Lexington with a number of bands for years. And then Arthur and I co-founded the Whoops a few years ago, and finally got to, travel a lot more, tour the country. And that was a great experience. And then COVID happened, and we found ourselves looking at each other, and then Arthur and Chris had a duo going that they're picking up parties or whatever, and I was in as soon as they asked me. I didn't have to think twice. So, and here we are, thankfully.
Wolfpen Branch. Once again, it's wolfpenbranch.com. And I mentioned this to everybody. We're going to go to Katie Penn next, but I mentioned this to Aaron and everybody before we came on, and I've got to mention this. I can't help myself, because when you're introducing a new band and they've got a style, say, well, they're another bluegrass band. No, not this band is not like that. As I mentioned, an analogy that I want to use is you're like a fine mixed drink. You take a couple shots of Newgrass Revival and a great shot of Jimmy Martin, and you go back to the 70s, and you got that energy, the great bluegrass, along with some of that new energy that a lot of bands, I believe, don't have. And it's just amazing to me how it drifts me back there, but yet just puts a fire in me when I hear your songs. And by the way, your bass playing is absolutely superb, Roddy.
Thank you so much.
I listen to everything. Even though I can't hear when someone talks to me, I listen to everything on the record. But Katie Penn, we're going to go to you next. And I know, just like the other members, you have your own style and you've had your own experiences in the music. You've been recognized many times. You've played with some top bands. So kind of give us an idea about Katie Penn with Wolfpen Branch.
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question. I don't know. I mean, I've just always played. I don't remember hardly not playing music. So, I mean, it's not all of my life, but it's a really big part of my life. And I started when I was about 9. I actually started when I was 5 and then quit and then started again at 9. Just due to my dad playing around the house and trying to get me to play as well. Started taking lessons, and the rest is history, I guess. But yeah, the same story that the other guys gave. COVID came, and nobody was doing anything. I've been dealing with sick parents, and I found myself, pretty much at home all the time, and well, everybody else did too during COVID. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess Arthur and Chris started playing some as a duo, and then started. I think Roddy came in before I did, and then we started playing. Just it was just a breath of fresh air to get out and play in the middle of all that. When of course we weren't playing for big audiences, but
Right.
it's kind of how it got started.
Well, one thing that I do know this, and I always have people ask me, why didn't you ask them what kind of instrument? So, Katie, I'm going to ask you because fiddle players always want to know what brand of fiddle you're playing. So could you answer that question? Kind of tell us a little bit about your fiddle.
Yeah, I play, it's a Silikowski fiddle. I actually have two John Silikowski fiddles, and it's all I've played since, I believe I got my first one when I was 13 or 14. And I played that one for several years, and then I got another one from him, and I've played that one, the second one, ever since.
Well, we're going to talk now. I want to get everybody in here before somebody either loses signal or has to leave. We're going to talk with Chris Shouse, and I'm going to bring up a song that is called Don't Have a Clue that you as a co-writer on. So, Chris, kind of talk about yourself there, which I know is hard to do, how you became a member of Wolfpen Branch, and kind of talk about that first single you all came out with, Don't Have a Clue, because you co-wrote.
Well, I've been playing music for a long time. I started when I was probably 14 or 15. All my family members play, so I kind of have that genetic bug inside of me, I guess. So I started playing music at church. The guy on the front pew played acoustic guitar. He was a bluegrasser. So I learned to play a lot of gospel hymns through him. Through high school, I got into the 90s rock scene, even through college. So I played a lot of that in the garage bands and things like that. But when I started teaching school, I'm an educator. When I started teaching school, one of the things I wanted to get was a nice Martin guitar. So when I got my first paycheck, I went and got a HD 28V from the great Ricky Wasson down in Clay City, Kentucky, and started getting back into bluegrass, played in some local bluegrass bands. And in 2007, I co-founded a Louisville-based band, the 23 String Band, who was lucky enough to get to travel around quite a bit to play. We won a couple of awards there in Louisville. We also won the Rocky Grass Band competition in 2011, where I was the guitar player and lead singer. I'd say around 2016, 15, 16, that band kind of faded out. And so I kind of started doing a lot of pickup gigs around. And during that time, I picked up playing the mandolin more. When you're around musicians at the level that we all are, you learn how to play all the instruments a little bit. So I went out on a whim and bought a used mandolin off the local guy and started trying to concentrate on actually learning how to play it more. And so I started playing that, quite a bit. And then I guess in 2019, met Arthur, which I've known Arthur for quite a few years. I guess we probably met, 2013, 2014, something like that, maybe 2012. And so we was at a Christmas party and we kind of started playing and jamming. And so we decided to start like a little duo group. And, we're just having so much fun because we both were kind of in between bands at the time that we started doing that, and asked Roddy to join and Kati and Aaron Bibelhauser. So it's been a great, this band has been really fun for me, getting to play a different instrument, which is fun, learning how to play that more. Also, getting the chance to do some great singing. I've always been a fan of Arthur singing and Aaron singing, and Roddy and Kati. This band is unique because all five people have great singing voices. So it's nice to get to do that. And it's also great to be in a band where that there's no egos. The first two singles that we released are songs that I wrote, which I am not a prolific songwriter at all. But it just happened to be that. And that's the way that this band kind of operates, is that we do things what we feel like is best for the band and not individually, which is awesome. The first single we have, "Don't Have a Clue," is a song that I wrote a few years ago. That's a little bit of the progressive side of bluegrass, but it kind of just talks about a person's journey and not really knowing where that they want to go, and hopefully trying to find that at some point. The second single, "Nary," is just a good barn burner, old time kind of bluegrass song that has a really nice singable chorus to it. That I love that part when we all sing in, and I also like using all the Kentucky slang like Kentucky and nary and things like that. So we do have another single coming out August the 12th, and we're excited to show that to the world. But I'm really happy to be playing in this band and get to experience hopefully some new musical adventures for my career. And that bar just keeps on going up. And in the beginning, you're just happy to have a gig, and then you're happy to get a paying gig. So that bar keeps on raising up. So hopefully the bar is still going up for us. So I'm excited to be playing this summer. We have some pretty good shows coming up here. We're playing the Station Inn in August. We're playing Laurel Cove Amphitheater with Town Mountain and our friend Cole Cheney. So we do have a lot of gigs coming up, and hopefully this music adventure will continue to get better.
Well, one thing I think I have found out listening to your music, that you can adapt to any venue. It doesn't make any difference. Hopefully they'll have a dance floor, because people's going to want to get up and dance. So there's just no doubt about it. That kind of energy. But if you remember when you and I talked last, and I think Aaron was with us, I said, "Don't have a clue." I said, "What was you doing? Up running around at 3 o'clock in the morning, didn't know where he's at or what was going on when you wrote that song." and nary. So is the title nary? Is that Kentucky slang? I'm from West Virginia, but what is nary?
Nary is like not.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's a Kentucky term or not, or an Appalachian term. I'm not really for sure, but I grew up always hearing the word nary as another word for not. So the song says nary or never girl.
Sometimes. Yeah,
not or never. So it's just like a Kentucky slang, or I don't know where it came from. But since I'm from Eastern Kentucky, I feel like it's a word that I hear everybody use a lot. I wasn't for sure how to even spell it. I don't know if it was Nary or Nery. I never knew. I don't know.
I think it works. I'll know to use it from now on. If I want to say something and people don't want to know what I'm saying, that's a little nary.
Nary time.
Yeah, nary time. I think we'll just make our own definitions for that stuff. That's great, but it's a great cut. Nary. And we're talking with Wolfpen Branch, and their website is wolfpenbranch.com. And we've covered about everybody except for one. Also want to make mention, we want to thank Wilson Pickens Promotions for getting us together here and talk about Wolfpen Branch. And if anybody has anything that they would like to chime in on, a thought in your head, just burst out there and say it. That would be the best way to do it, because all of us together may not think of everything. But we're going to go on with Aaron Bibelhauser, Louisville, Kentucky. And certainly you've had a lot of experiences, not only writing songs for Range, Del McCurry Band, Michael Cleveland, and Flame Keeper, and the producing that you do and the songwriting that you do on your own. Certainly all of you five together, you add a big part of the band as well. So tell us about Aaron Bibelhauser, and don't forget to talk about your radio show.
Thanks, Al. I appreciate you doing this and having us on. It's always a pleasure to visit with you.
Yes, sir.
So I started, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, the big city in Kentucky, We don't say nary over here as much as we do over in the eastern part of the state, but we're learning. But anyway, I grew up here, and I have a twin brother, and Adam and I grew up playing. We didn't play music together as young kids, but as sort of young adults, in our teenage years, started singing together and playing, sort of in the old brother duet style. We were heavily influenced by originally the Monroe brothers and the Osborne brothers and all those bluegrass groups, Jim and Jesse McReynolds, and then backtracking further back in the catalog of people like the Louvin brothers and the Delmore brothers. So that kind of harmony singing was always my favorite part of making music, even though I grew up playing the piano, not singing a word, until I was an adult. But I finally felt like I kind of blossomed and got in my comfort zone when I got to sing with my brother. And that sort of opened up some doors to, become a little bit more proficient at not just singing, but beginning to be a songwriter and taking myself seriously as a songwriter. We founded a band here in Louisville called Relic, and we're kind of on a long-term hiatus with that band right now. But it was perfect timing because during the pandemic there was nothing to be had gig-wise anyway, and everybody in that band going different directions, and I had known all the members of Wolfpen Branch before we started playing together as an ensemble. But it was just a nice, like you said, a breath of fresh air to be able to, Kati said that earlier about just like a breath of fresh air to get out and play music again and play with different people than we've been used to playing with. And everybody in this group brings such strong points from their own perspective. I think it's critical to, we talked about, Chris mentioned earlier that, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of ego, but there's a lot of personality. Everybody brings plenty of personality, and there's a lot of leadership too. We're all able to carry our own weight, kind of help out, and it feels like a real group effort. So that's the thing I'm most excited about playing with the Wolfpen Branches is the big, strong, loud singing that we get to do together, and we kind of get to toe that line between just outright mash bluegrass, straight up the middle bluegrass when we want to, and then writing our own tunes and playing with Groove Master here, Roddy, on bass, just opens a lot of doors to play rhythmically a whole lot different music than most bluegrass bands play. So it's nice. Like you said something earlier about hoping people have a place to move, because when we play, it is nice to see people get up out of their in a genre of music where a lot of people are sitting in their lawn chairs. It's kind of nice to see people get up out of their chairs and move around and interact with us. So it's an exciting band, and excited about some more new music we got coming up. Arthur wrote the next single that we've got coming out. Maybe we should mention it. It's called Swanee, but certainly going to be exciting to get back in the studio and do some more recording and see how this next single is accepted.
So your plan, since all of the members of Wolfpen Branch are equal, and it's not about me. Y'all work together. You have your own experiences, and you can tell that by your music. Everybody compliments everybody. What do you think? And this might be a long-range question. What do you think your plans are going to be? Because I believe that all of you have created a style of music, and I don't think that style of music would have been created if not for your experiences that have come together. So you feel that you're all going to stay together for quite a while and get a couple albums under your belt?
Yeah, the band is super.
Yeah,
to me, the band is super low pressure for all of us. Not having to be a lead singer for the whole entire time, and having 4 other people that can sing and can not only sing but sing well. It's such a huge relief for me. Also, instrument wise, to me, Kati is one of my favorite fiddle players, and Roddy is, phenomenal, and Aaron and Arthur, they all bring so much into the table. It makes it easy because it just kind of just fits in. It's kind of like a glove, you put that hand in that glove, it just seems to fit, and that's the way that this band works for me.
Well, I don't like to compare, but I think I will in this matter, because I see all the individual talent here, and I remember great bands that were together for years, but each one of the members went off and did a few other things. And I'm talking about like the Bluegrass Album Band, Longview, and some of those bands of that nature. And they fulfilled a need that was into the music. And I think that you all together are fulfilling or going to fulfill a need that needs to be in the music, even if you separate a little bit and walk the thing. Because the more you learn, you can bring that experience back to what you all are doing and add that to it. But I think everybody probably wonders, you know, are you going to stick together? Are you going to do this? You're going to do that? And I just think that's what we're trying to establish here, that yes, you're going to stick together and you're going to bring us some great music. That's why the 2 singles are out. Another album coming out here after you get done. It takes time. It takes a lot of money to do all this stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes a lot of time and money, and this whole pandemic, even though we kind of came, you know, we came to be during this, and this band came to fruition during this time. It's, you know, that puts a real, you know, puts the brakes on your strategy. If your plan is to take over the world, take over the bluegrass world, and like play everywhere all over the country, and it happens to be a year when they're you know, where there was a complete economic shutdown, then your plan might be, you know, it might be ill-fated, so to speak. But I think our mission right now, we have a whole lot of fun. First of all, and we have a whole lot of fun. And Chris mentioned that you know, it's low pressure. We have a lot of fun, and we lift each other up. You know, when one of us is out there singing a song that we wrote, everybody else is lifting that person up and playing their role to try to help further the group, you know. But as far as, you know, longer term goals, I mean, we want to try to work regionally here around, you know, the greater Kentucky and a few states away this year, and then, you know, hopefully we see a full light at the end of this tunnel with people getting back to touring full time and playing music. You know, we'll be able to get a little bit further away from the house when we want to, you know. But I think that was a good analogy you mentioned in other bands, that because we all obviously have other musical, you know, not necessarily priorities that come before this band. This band is pretty much in the forefront of my mind, but it certainly doesn't. The beautiful thing about having this many strong musicians in the group, creative people in the group, is that it's not critical if one person, you know, has other, you know, musical aspirations outside of the band. Roddy's a working musician around the Lexington, Kentucky area, and plays quite often with a whole lot of other groups around. And we all kind of have, you know, musical side projects. So it's exciting to be able, when we get to come together and create some new music.
No, I think it's a great thing. Those vocals there a minute ago, I think those would probably be okay. Vocals would be
I also want to mention too that, sure, you know, we're supportive of each other's side projects as well. You know, Kati plays with you know, Alan Bobby in Grasstown, and Arthur has some side projects that he's working on, and has a new song out right now. So we're all sharing those things and trying to promote each other as well as our own music. So that's really nice too.
Well, I think that the people are going to get probably better listeners, put it that way, to you. Because, you know, that's how I'm going to put it. Because when I first started listening to music, and I'm going to use it personally, and you know, either I like it or I don't, it's not good or it's not good. This is absolutely great music. I'm ready. I'm tapping my toes, and I'm ready to go, and it's energy. And that's what we need out here. The bands that's got energy and something different. We love bluegrass. But Billy Seckler told me one time in a conversation we had, he said, if every band was the same, why would you go see them? And I totally agreed with him on that. So
Yeah.
All the great experiences you all have and what you brought together is what makes Wolfpen Branch. And how did you come up with the name Wolfpen Branch?
I think Arthur should chime in on that.
Yeah, I'll jump in. So, at least in my life, there was a moment one time we were at a festival in Eastern Kentucky that sits on Ross's Creek, which has a tributary named Wolfpen Branch. And that festival has been really prominent in all of our musical careers and our relationships and our friendships. And, we toyed with some other names. It was hard to find a name. We were Hancock and Shouse, and we just didn't feel like calling it that was appropriate because of, unless we put featuring Kati, Penn, Aaron Bibelhauser, and Roddy Puckett, but that name, to those that know, it means a lot about Kentucky music and the spirit of what we're trying to do, which is a collaborative, authentic music that is just really a representation of what our experiences are, like you're saying. But as well, I like the fact that it brought in Louisville. There's a road there, and my mom grew up near there, and Aaron's from Louisville, so it ties both sides of the state together. And hopefully here at a show soon, we'll have a bunch of people howling at the moon. So see what happens.
Once again, we're talking with Wolfpen Branch, band based in Kentucky, and their website, wolfpenbranch.com. The two singles, Nary and Don't Have a Clue. You can go purchase them on download platform anywhere you want. And Aaron Bibelhauser, Arthur Hancock IV, Chris Shouse, Kati, Penn, and Roddy Puckett. So, is there anything that each one of you individually would like to say about Wolfpen Branch, or about what your thoughts are as you kind of finish up here?
I got one thing to say that's another key component that makes this band so unique is that we all happen to be Kentuckians. I know there's a lot of bluegrass music that came from Kentucky, but the unique thing about this band, we all call Kentucky home, but we all call different parts of Kentucky home. So we don't live too far from each other. We're all within about 2 hours and some change, maybe total. But me being from Louisville, Kati originally from Frankfort and now lives in Lexington. Arthur's originally from Paris, lives in Frankfort. Chris from way down in the hills in eastern Kentucky in Owsley County and lives in Richmond now. And Roddy's in Winchester and grew up in Shelbyville. We're kind of scattered around, and I think that's an exciting thing because it kind of makes us who we are. It's like bringing not necessarily just the geography, but the culture. It's a big old melting pot of Kentucky nonsense is what it is.
Got anything you want to say
about that?
I like that. A bunch of Kentucky nonsense, that's for sure. No, I'm really proud to be a part of this band. It feels good. It feels right. It's easy to make music with these fine folks, for sure. And I'm looking forward to getting in the studio, that's for sure, as soon as possible.
Chris, you want to chime in? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I interrupt you?
No, I'm ready to. When are we going to do the studio, guys? Zoom meeting after this.
ASAP.
Wait a minute. That reminds me, since Melanie can edit here, let's talk off the cuff a second. Oh, yeah. This is great. Maybe we'll just leave this in here. I think this is the behind the scenes. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Now, since you all can hear me and you can hear yourselves pretty good, maybe you all could do a little song there. Could you sing a little harmony? I wonder if they've ever been able to do that on Zoom.
I think
it's
it'll work
impossible.
with Zoom because there's I think
delay.
there's a delay,
Oh,
we could do it.
man.
We could do
Well,
that.
that's too bad.
Hello.
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 Goodbye.
Where's Kati at? I didn't hear her voice in there.
Kati's doing laundry.
No, I'm thinking about laundry.
She's doing an hour laundry, actually. She lost a bet.
Yeah.
She lost a bet.
Listen, when you all hang out with me, I mean, yeah, we've got our serious moments, but when you're around Big Al, whether we're doing Zoom TV or we're doing radio, we have.
Yeah.
It's just like being in a band, you know.
We appreciate
So
it.
go ahead, Arthur. Oh, I appreciate you all very much.
I was just going to say, you know, I had to deal with a lot in the face of adversity as far as getting to play music, and it's taught me a lot about the nature of what it really means to play by yourself or with a band or with a group of people. And you know, I'm more focused on the art of it now and the energy and the joy of it. And you know, the guys, you know, Kati and the guys know that I'll play a gig, and sometimes there goes my buddies to the gig. But you're not always sure, at least it's in the back of my mind, I'm not always sure if I'll be able to do it forever, or, you know, or what's going to change with my health as far as the music. So it's been a real grateful gratitude sphere of, you know, if we can record projects together and do just that, I think it's a success. If we get to play live for people, which we're getting the opportunity to do, it's even more of a success. If we get the opportunity only to get together a few times a year and just play, you know, it's every time it's such a joy. And I think that I'm seeing with the whole social media world now, you see the good and bad getting tossed around about music. I think at the end of the day, it's just music, and it's meant to be played for the artist as well as for the people, you know. And I think that mentality, we all feel that through our own experiences, and we really, I mean, I don't really know what happens when we play. I kind of block out. You know, it's a great experience. I think the studio will be our best friend. You know, there's in music, you're traditionally, you're recording, and then you're going out and you're driving around and you're playing gigs, trying to get people to know who you are. I think all of us are in a place now where we get the opportunity to take it as it comes and record music, and hopefully people like it. And if they do, then they'll ask us to come play in their backyard, and we'll have a hell of a good time.
You know, you opened up
Right.
something right there. And this would be good to ask this question. Since all of you are equal to each other, you're equal in your experiences and your playing. So does that make you individually, when you're getting ready to take a break in the band, or you're in the recording studio, does that kind of give you a positive vibe that you can be better than you ever thought about being, because you don't have to worry about you're one of the members of the band? Is that kind of how it goes for you all? I mean, maybe I didn't look at it correctly, but that's the best I can think.
I think I know what you mean, but to correct one thing, we're not all equal. Katie's a whole lot better musician than all the rest of us.
Oh,
She won't admit it, but
I'm more hateful.
she's the one nice fighter we got in the band. You know, all the rest of us, we're just up there singing and beating on our instruments. And then she takes a big solo and gets everybody up on their feet. But no, to answer what you said honestly is it's an important part of it. And like you said, either in the studio or on stage, I alluded to it earlier. It's like the fact that everybody in this band loves each other and we lift each other up, it does make you a little more comfortable. When it's your turn up there, whether it's playing a banjo solo or Chris playing a mandolin solo or Arthur up there singing his heart out, he's in a comfortable place. He's so comfortable that he might take a risk that he wouldn't normally take, and like do something that never happened before, which is exciting. And I think that's some of the magic that makes this band what it is.
Well, I can understand that. I'll say this. We'll see if Melanie cuts it out or not. It's cool, but you all might agree with me. I was playing a show one night, and out everything. I mean, it just went nuts. All you heard was that note,
Hey,
And
Roddy lit up
I'm
when
sure
you
you
said
all
that.
have those.
That's right. It's pretty magical. You said it.
Oh man.
I'm going to say it's all about energy, and so much of performing is having good energy. And, you know, if each one of us, you know, when we're playing and I look over at Kati or Arthur or Roddy or Aaron, they're all smiling and they're having fun. And that when you're having fun on stage, the audience is also having fun. I think that's a huge part of it, because for me personally, if I go to a concert, I'd rather see those people having fun and maybe music not be as good than watching somebody play that's stagnant and acting like they hate to be there, you know, like play the 30-minute set and then get off. I like that energy, because I think that's just a huge part of it. And when you have people in this band like this, all the energy, if we all have 20%, it combines for more than 100%, because it just collectively, it makes it so good. Just because you have a band of 5 great musicians doesn't mean the music is going to be good, because there is an energy part of it. There's a musical side of it, as far as playing in front of the beat or behind the beat or on the beat. Also, it's like an energy thing. So this band collectively brings that to a whole new level for me.
When do you think you'll have your next single out?
We've got a release date that's scheduled for, is it
12th?
August the 12th?
August 12th.
Yeah, that's Thursday. That's the day that we play our debut show in Nashville. We'll be playing at the Station Inn that night in Nashville, the historic Station Inn in Nashville. And then, the single will come out that day on all streaming and download platforms. And we'll be in Owensboro, Kentucky that weekend as well. So excited to play some dates, build some audiences around different parts of the region here.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be returning to Owensboro again in September for Romp. That's a big exciting date for us too. The Romp is a big festival there. Benefits the Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum, and excited to be a part of that as well.
Well, certainly looking forward to some more of that great music, and we'll keep spinning this great music. And I want to once again tell everybody, wolfpenbranch.com. Go over there and check these folks out and grab them singles. And also anybody that likes to listen to all the radio shows, make sure that you contact your favorite radio DJ and request Mary, and you don't have a clue. I'm going to go on what the Lexington Herald said. They said you were the band to watch for 2021, and if they say it, then I know it's got to be good, because they don't put something like that in the paper.
Oh, no.
But I really appreciate all of you taking the time to be with me on Uncut Grass today. All right, once again, we've been with Wolfpen Branch here on Uncut Grass, and that's Aaron Bibelhauser, Arthur Hancock IV, Chris Shouse, Kati Penn, and Roddy Puckett, and their EP. The website is wolfpenbranch.com. Don't forget their great singles, Mary and Don't Have a Clue, and they'll be out with the third one here very soon. Folks, y'all have a great evening, and thank you for being on Uncut Grass.
Thank you.
Thank you.